You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Instead of the mouse word of the gaming drag today, I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' Path. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. I'll go now and get us something to eat. I doubt there'll be anything really that good, but who knows? Be right back. Back out on deck, the crew was still just as merry in the brisk night and showed no signs of slowing down. The deck stunk of ale and fish and other foods, and the floor started to feel a bit sticky. You felt sorry for the sailors who have to clean that up. Then you realize it just might be you and Emil. Speaking of which, you hadn't seen him at all since you last parted, and now things had calmed down and you were beginning to worry if he was alright. Then you spotted him, a boy in the distance sitting atop a barrel downing a cup of ale as sailors cheered for him. As soon as he was finished, he waved over at you before being given another cup. You smiled and waved back before heading over to the spread of food. You weren't really expecting much, but even this was kind of sad. Jake! You found the shark off to the side speaking to Alkai, beckoning you over. There's still quite a bit of food available, and it looked like for the most part that everyone was more interested in drinking than eating. You stepped away and joined them. Would still be there when you got back. Alkai gave you an irritated look as soon as you arrived, the kind that said you were interrupting them despite being invited over. Hey, Jaws, Alkai. Finally came out, huh? I was beginning to wonder what the two of you were doing in there. Jaws gave you a quick wink and you turned away red in the face. I was just checking in on him. Heh, I know. Well, I take it Leandros is doing alright then. Yeah, he was just... Oh god, this music. I've heard this in so many YTP videos. Yeah, he was just feeling a bit hungry, so I was gonna get him something to eat. A guy like him is pretty tough. I would know it. What about yourself? Still a little sore, but no broken bones at least. Humans are pretty tough too, you know. Heh. Well, it's just good to see us all still here in one piece, eh, Alkai? Going to get myself something to drink. Mind getting something for me and Jake? He merely stared at Jaws before nearly bumping into you as you retreated. Guess that's a no. I think he might be going off to do his own thing. Yeah. To be honest, I was kinda hoping he would have stayed around a bit longer. You had to admit that you were thankful that he left. After your last interaction, you wanted to stay as far away from him as possible. And while Jaws seemed to be disappointed, you took it as an opportunity to finally get to talk to him alone. There was so much that you wanted to say to him that you couldn't with all that had happened. Well, to be honest, I was hoping to talk to you alone anyway. Oh? Well then, sure, go right ahead. What do you want to talk about? Alkai's captain. So, he's captain and your first mate now? To be honest, I don't know if Alkai being captain is worse for me or not. Huh? Why do you say that? Alkai and I don't exactly see eye to eye. Oh, there we go. Alright. Now that he's the one in charge, I might have to sleep with one eye open, unless he chokes me to death in my sleep. Alkai's many things, but he's not the kind to kill from the shadows. He'd face you head on. And is that supposed to make me feel better? What I mean to say is that you have nothing to worry about. I said I would protect you, and I mean it. If he ever meant you harm in any way, I would know. You don't trust me. I do, but how can you really think he won't just beat me up without your knowledge? I mean, how well do you really know him? You saw how he acted when he was alone with me. You had to step in before I would have been nothing but a broken pile of bones. And the way that he looks at me, I swear if looks could kill, I'd be dead 10 times over by now. He won't touch you as long as I'm around. Because you're first mate now? I assure you, he will not lay a hand on your Leandros. He's not like Kroon. I think they're more alike than you're giving him credit for. I think he was just frustrated with himself and the way his life was going. And that justifies his actions? Well, no. Jaws, why are you defending him? Before the attack aboard the ship, you two looked like you were going to go at each other like a cat and dog. I suppose our relationship with one another has changed. To be honest, even before I left this ship, he never really talked to me much. He'd give me these intense stares. I always thought he hated me. Turns out he just wanted me to see him like an equal. Is that what he told you? No, but I get the feeling that he thought that. Either way, I assure you that no harm will come to either of you. Not only will he uphold our previous bargain with bringing you to the mainland, but I even convinced him to still let you sleep and eat without having to work. I mean, I don't have to swab the deck anymore? Unless you really want to. All of a sudden, your arms felt extremely sore again. especially looking at the state of the deck and how rough of a time it would be to clean after this night. No thanks. Croon was someone who couldn't be reasoned with, and with me being first mate and all, well, I have a bit more clout around here now, especially with being the one to slay the Leviathan and all. You're really gonna ride that wave till you die, aren't you? Well, not like anyone but us aboard the ship will ever know what happened this night. But it wasn't the only one, though. We all did our part, just as Alkai did. What do you want to talk about? Leviathan's attack. I see you got your leg fixed, so you noticed. Not exactly every day that you run into a beast man with a mop for a leg. It'll make Emil's job a lot easier for sure. Very funny. As if you aren't the first one to make that joke. Well, at least it'll be another good story to tell. Lost your leg for the second time, but this time to the fierce Leviathan. Can probably hang that over Alkai's head for a good many years. He would have killed if not for you. Would have been killed if not for you. Maybe. Though it was Leandros who ended up saving me and him in the end. Otherwise, it might have been Serpent Chow. That's not how he sees it. He seems to think that you saved himself and everyone else aboard the ship. I might have slayed the beast in the end, but I could never have done it alone. He played just as much a part in taking down that demon as I did. Yeah. It's still hard to believe it's over. First the attack on Marvin's ship and right into a battle with the Leviathan. You know, after it sunk the Syracuse, I never wanted to see it again. Even now, I don't want to be anywhere near the water. I fear that any second it's going to rise from the deep and attack us again. And I would defeat it just like before. Still, I think after this I'll be avoiding any bodies of water for a long time. It'll take a while to recover from this. I'm surprised that you're handling this so well. That thing nearly ate you. I might look tough on the outside, but on the inside I'm still shaking just the same. To be honest, I've already had a few pints of ale. I might have been a pirate, a scourge of the seas, but never in my life had I ever been so scared before. Right now, I'm sure the rest of the crew are like that too. All this merriment, all the drink and food, it's just to dull the senses. Nobody wants to think about what is lurking below our ship. Nobody wants to remember what happened just a few hours ago. They want to get wasted, fall asleep, and wake up like this all was just one big nightmare. Almost kind of wish we did take the head off, as Croon said, just in case. Heh, after what your blade did, I don't think anything could survive that. Still, I'm curious why it attacked us in the first place. And it completely ignored Marvin's ship too, like it was after something. Cursed blade. You said the Leviathan was after something. You were right. What do you mean? You're about to take out your blade, but Jaws seemed to flinch. It's probably for the best just to keep it at your side for now, for both of your sakes. The blade? You nodded. Why would it be after such a thing, and more importantly, how do you know this? Well, at first it was just a hunch, or a feeling maybe. The entire battle up until you and Leandros injured the beast, it was focused almost entirely on the blade. I thought that perhaps it was after me, or maybe it was. But then it told me that it had known the beast as well. Or at least that is what it seemed to imply. Are you saying it spoke to you? Yeah, it was right after I was knocked unconscious that it spoke to me in a dream. He briefly explained what had happened. Jaws listened in with increased interest and even more increasing horror. When you had finished, there was a moment of silence as you both took in what you had just said. I suppose all this is beginning to make sense now. Everything that led up to this moment, was it truly a coincidence? Esther and Marilyn picking up the blade, the Leviathan attacking you and being chosen. That sword truly is an ill omen. Wish I had never let Esther and Marilyn pick it up. You said they got it from a merchant in the wastes, right? Yeah, some shady dealer who said it once belonged to a king in the lands far, far away from Torvare. Prior to us bringing that accursed blade aboard, we had gentle waves and calm winds. It's only after we'd acquired it and were on our way to Havana is when it attacked. And then it attacked again when we all left. And a final third time this night. I wonder, did it know then? No? You said it wanted to take over you, right? What if it's not mere coincidence? What if it somehow knew that it would reach you? You mean that Esther and Marilyn unknowingly picked it up and brought it to me outside their free will? It sends shivers down my spine just thinking of that. I lost it during the wreck at sea, but you found it and eventually it made its way back to me. But if that's the case, maybe it might truly be impossible to get rid of this thing. But yet it allowed you to give it to Leandros though, right? I even held it. To be honest, I think that might have been because of the circumstances. I couldn't wield it like I told you, and it was the only thing capable of defeating the Leviathan. I think at that moment it decided to let you use it just until the battle was over. In a sense, It was like it was protecting me, or rather my body. Speak of which, you didn't happen to hear anything when you held it this time, did you? No, actually, it was silent, unlike before. But I did feel this strange power flowing through me. Like if the entire Red Sea was in a jar that I could lift it right over my head. It was scary yet invigorating. I almost wanted more. Leandra said the same thing. It pretty much went silent after I woke up. I wonder if that voice had anything to do with it. The one that you said you heard before you woke up. What was that about? I don't know. It was a cold and vile voice, but somehow it was familiar. As though I had known it my entire life. Like some kind of guardian angel. Would an angel have a demonic-sounding voice? Perhaps you might have mistaken it. Either way, it sounds to me like it saved you. It might even be the very thing that is sealing away that sword of yours. I'd look at it as a blessing. I don't know enough about it to call it that. To me, it was just another voice in my head. It could very well just be another demon. But nothing has happened to you yet, right? It might just be waiting for the right time. Well, regardless, as long as it stays silent and never speaks again, I'll be happy. It should give me enough time to figure out how to deal with it. If I ever learn something, I'll be sure to let you know. What do you want to talk about? Jaws' secret. Say, Jaws? Were you really going to go through with it? Jaws? I take it you're referring to attacking Marvin's ship. To be honest, you were never supposed to find out. You were to be dropped off at the mainland and never be involved. You didn't answer my question. Yes. But know that I wasn't doing it out of enjoyment. You said it was to protect me, but once Leandros and I were off the ship... No, thank you. You would have had no reason to. You would have had no reason to. I made a promise. I promised to kill others just to save me. Leandros would have done the same. No, he wouldn't. He would find another way, one that didn't involve violence. Jake, I do not know Leandros as well as you, but I know how precious you are to him. He would do anything for you. And me? If it wasn't for me, you'd still be home, sleeping peacefully in bed, without fear of being murdered in your sleep. And you'd wake up in the morning well rested to still see the king, your father, at breakfast. I stole that life from you, and for that I owe you my life. Which is why it's time to come clean. I tell you everything, so that you know just what my crime is. I can no longer hold it in. You have a right to know. Jaws. Once you have Leandros' food, I'll meet you in the captain's quarters. You were almost too frightened to hear what he had to say now. The fight was over, and joy and laughter and cheer ran through every plank in the ship. Yet somehow you knew the taste of food and drink was about to become sour with the upcoming conversation. With a plate of food for Leandros, you entered to find the two of them already deep in conversation. You risked your life for me and Jake, and yet I treated you like a criminal. No, I know exactly how you feel. If I were in your graves, I would be the same. You had every right to be suspicious and angry with me, which is why I'm thankful that you saved me, even if I never deserved it. Oh, Jake. Sorry, I hope I wasn't interrupting anything. No, we were just catching up, so to speak. He stepped further in and placed down the platter of food near Leandros, who simply stared at it with hungry eyes and a loud stomach. Not gonna eat? I was gonna ask you the same. You didn't get anything for yourself? It's a little strange for me to be the only one eating. I actually already ate something before coming here, along with a bit of ale. I'm still full from dinner, to be honest. Leandros sheepishly reached for a piece of fish and slowly began eating. To keep things from becoming too awkward, you broke the silence with a fun little song. At first it was just you singing it, the two others looking on with confusion and intrigue as though they had never heard it before. I'm gonna pause it right there, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!